So, I mean, it's attempting to go. Okay. It's got this little red line. It's
Oh, really? What is it?
I mean, attempting to go. It's got this little red line. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
It is so nice to be here with all of you. A big Shabbat Shalom to everyone who is with us on streaming. We are so happy that you are here. My name is Ira Diamond. This is Randy Murphy, and it is our pleasure to welcome you to Temple Akiva to our lay-led service. Rabbi Shapiro and Kantorani are on vacation, and they will be back next week, and they send their Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Oftentimes when I come to Temple Akiva, and if I see, let's say I see Morris Zlotowitz, and after we greet each other with a Shabbat Shalom, he says to me, Ira, I just love the fact that after a really hard week at work, it is so nice to be at Temple Akiva with celebrating Shabbat. And Morris, if you're streaming in, I love when you say that to me. And of course, I was paraphrasing, you say it much better. But in that spirit, I would like everybody to please close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath and let it out. And feel the warmth of our community around us. Feel the Shabbat spirit that's here. And feel the fact that we're under the sky, outside in nature, in the beauty, celebrating this Shabbat. So we now begin our Shabbat service with the light and the warmth of the Shabbat candles. It's my pleasure to call forward Elizabeth Zlotowitz and Jana Schwartz to light our candles. Page 2. We also usher in the sweetness of Shabbat with the sweetness of wine. And it is my pleasure to call forward Neil Schwartz to lead us in the Kiddush. Neil.
Everyone, please join in if you would like on page 5. I haven't done this since my bar mitzvah, so everyone will help me out. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei elu ha'arba. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'rasa'ah. Shabbat kasho b'yah v'yasam imkimanu zikaron v'le'oreh nishim ki hu yom te'ilah l'mi'arei kodesh ze'eretz tziyat Mitzrayim Kiva Baruch atah Adonai,
You may be seated. I now call forward Ira Pemstein to read on page 8.
I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy and God. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I know. Through prayer, I can sense in my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities of my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to protect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illuminate all of us and to bring that vision to life.
Thank you, Ira. I love that prayer of gratitude. Our next prayer is the Lachadodi. It's found on page 20. I ask that everybody please rise. We're going to do verse 1, 2, and 5. When we get to verse 5, please face the east, which is that one.
Lechadodi lekrat kala,
B'nei Shabbat Le'kala, Le'kadodi Le'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Le'kala, Le'kadodi Le'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Le'kala, Le'kadodi Le'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Le'kala, Shamor V'nachmori Purecha, Ishmianu Ralucha, Adonai Echad, Shemo Echad, L'Shemo Tiferet V'Tinah. Le'Adoni Le'Krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Le'Kavela, Le'Adoni Le'Krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Le'Kavela. Oh, we Shalom Atarech Kala, Gam L'Simcha U'Betohala, To'et Uleam Segula, Bo'ikala, Bo'ikala, Le'Adoni Le'Krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Le'Kavela, Le'Adoni Le'Krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Le'Kavela. Our next prayer is found on page 28. It is the Baruchu. It's our call to worship prayer. And I ask everybody that can to please stand. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. And Adonai, Amen. We now read together on the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons lie. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans into infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Ha'ravim. Our next prayer is found on page 34. It is the Shema prayer. I'm going to ask everybody to please rise. The Shema, the word Shema actually means to hear or to listen. And it reminds me of the importance of truly being a good listener, which we all need to be. And we're going to talk about the Torah portion a little bit, which is more about speaking, but this is more about listening.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Shema Yisrael Adonai Echad.
You may be seated.
It is now my pleasure to call forward Meg Clements to lead us in the Via Hafta. Meg.
Et Adonai Elohecha, V'kol v'ka u'v'ka nafsheka, u'v'kol meyodecha, V'hayu harvarim ha'ele, Asher anoki mitzaveka, Ayom levedecha, Neshinem tam leveneka, Vedivartam bam, Veshitevka, Vediteka, Ulekata badere, Ushopeka, Ukumeka, Ukshartom leod, Yadeka, Vehayu letofetot, Vedeneka, Uktata, Amazuzot Veteka, Ubi Shareka, Lemon Tiskeru, Veasitem et Kometzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim Leleke, Ani Adonai Eloheinu, Asher Hosea Tiakem, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Lihot Lakem La'im, Ani Adonai Eloheinu.
Thank you, Meg. I now call forward Neil to read to lead us in the reading on page 38, the bottom page 38.
I'm going to read the bottom of 38, and then I'll ask everyone to join us for the top 3 paragraphs, short paragraphs on page 39. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and savior who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels without count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the lands of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Together at the top of page 39, the first 3 paragraphs together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we before God, before the Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promise, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together.
Our next prayer is found on page 40, the Micha Mocha. It is a joyous prayer praising God. La 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 la. La 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 la
Kamo kane lima donai, kamo kane adabakone, orata hilo o semene, hilo semene. Malakuta kara uvaneha, okeyayam negoshe, zeli anumi amaru, zeli anumi amaru. I don't mind, Lord. I don't mind. I don't mind, Lord.
I would say that was pretty joyous. Okay, our next prayer is found on page 373. It is the Kol Hanishama prayer. Kol Hanishama, I love it. It means that every single breath that we take is a blessing to God. When we wake up in the morning, we take a breath, it's a blessing to God. And what I especially love about this prayer is that it combines the spiritual, which is a praying to God, with the physical, breathing. It's fantastic. The challenge is going to be, I'd like to do this as a round. And so I would like to ask Charlene and Carol and Diana and anybody else that's on in the chorus to please come forward and help us. Here, over here. So I just want you to know that we've been practicing this for weeks.
Yeah, right.
And what we'll do is we'll do the first, we'll do it once without a round.
Oh, Hanishama, Hallelujah. Oh,
I love that prayer. It's a work in progress. Thank you all so much for, I was looking for you guys. Our next prayer is found on page 46. It's the silent Amidah. And what we're going to do is we're going to sing the first 3 prayers together, and then we're going to go into silent meditation using the words in your heart or the words on the page. And then when you're done, please feel free to sit. And I ask everybody to please rise, and we face east. Adonai Tzivatati Uthia Gita Kivater. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Ve'gonei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot V'imavo, U'mevi Gula L'bnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo V'yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Mevi, Baruch Adonai, Magin Abraham, Ezra Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'adam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Atah, Rav Le'Hoshia, Mori Atah, Mechakel Hayim B'Chesed, Mechaye Hakol Be'Rami Rabi. So make no flame Barothei holy, Umatir Asurim, Umekayeh Unato, Lishenei Afar, Nikamo Kavavivurot, Umidomela, Melech Meni, Umekayeh, Umasmira Yeshua. Bene'emanata L'Tayota Adonai Mechayeh. Page 52. Atah Kadosh V'Shikha Kadosh Ukadoshi B'Kol Yom Hallelu Hasela Baruch Atah Adonai Adonai HaKadosh. It is now my pleasure to call forward Kathy to read on the top of page 55.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who are hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah mekadesh haShabbat.
Our next prayer is found on page 253. It is the Misha Bayrock prayer, our prayer for healing. There are many of us here tonight who have friends or family that are in need of healing. This could be emotional, spiritual, or physical. In the middle of the prayer, when my eyes meet yours, please say out loud those names that you were thinking about. It could even be yourself, so that we can, as a community, support you and send our thoughts and prayers for that person.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Sharon, Roberta Camden, Carol C. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I am still on an emotional high from being in Israel with our dear Temple Akiba community and my sister Julie. We did so many adventures. We had so many adventures, so many learning experiences that was just amazing. Being that Israel is more than 50% desert, getting very little precipitation, an important thing to me was how did the ancient Israelites get water? How do they store water? And it was basically two different ways. One is with cisterns, and the other is with wells. And in case you don't know, a cistern is basically a hole in the ground that you fill with water. And every cistern that we saw was 100% dry. It wasn't helping anybody. And then there was wells that were gushing forward out of the ground. A well is a hole in the ground that connects the groundwater to the surface. And it's still, after all these years, it's just exuding water, life necessary water. So there's this rabbi, Yehud Leib Alter, who lived in the 1800s, and he made an analogy between cisterns and wells and our Torah portion. Thank you very much. And I really related to that. And he compared Moses to being a well. So the name of our Torah portion tonight is Devarim. Devarim means words. Whose words are they? Moses. Moses is speaking. He's speaking in Devarim, which is in the beginning of Deuteronomy, all the way through Deuteronomy. 33 verses, eloquently, beautifully. Wait a second. Moses is doing this? Remember back in Exodus 4 when Moses said, "Please, my Lord, I am not a man of words, not now, not ever. I am heavy of speech and heavy of tongue," right? So Moses is standing on the Jordan River with the Israelites, right? And by the way, this is the same Jordan River that Kathy Pencil and all of us river raft down just a few weeks ago, you know? And this is the same Jordan River that, I'll try to describe this, that Jeffrey Rips, our executive director, where's Jeffrey? Well, anyway, he was in the front of the raft, paddling expertly. I was in the back of the raft, steering poorly. And when we hit the waterfall, I promise you, the Jordan River has a waterfall, and you don't find it in biblical text. Anyway, when you hit the waterfall, you're supposed to, Jonathan would know this, you're supposed to do it perpendicularly, like bow first. Well, because of my steering, I hit it exactly this way, sideways, and I went over the falls, and of course, I was thrown out of the raft, landed in the water, and I went under. And then I felt something on my leg. It was Joy Jacobs to the rescue. She was pulling on my leg, and so was my sister Julie. And they pulled me into the boat like a fish, and I plunked onto the bottom. But still, I made it into the boat. And as I got into the boat, and I started to go down, and I was steering again, this time much more carefully, because on the right side of the Jordan River are these bushes that are very prickly, and they can basically rip you up. So I learned to steer very, very quickly. But as I was going down the Jordan River, as we were all, I was trying to imagine Moses with the children of Israel right there on the left side of the Jordan River. The promised land was right here. So Moses he had just traveled for 40 years with the Jewish people, and he knew he was going to die, and he knew he had to say something, right? So my question is, how the heck can he say anything? Because he couldn't speak in Exodus. And the second thing is, what did he say? And he has to say something very, very good. So the first thing I want to talk about is, how did he say it? So you can believe that God spoke through Moses, or you can believe like me that Moses really he grew as a person. and that he was inspired by God, and that he reached a new milestone in his life, and he was able to find the well in himself. He was able to find the well in himself. And he also learned a lot of leadership skills from leading for the last 40 years. And another thing about Moses is he stepped up to the challenge. So by the time he spoke, which was 40 years, he was ready. He was ready. And he became the well. And the teachings and the words that came out just gushed forward like a well, like a water. So that is very inspiring. What did he say? Okay, we figured out how he said it, but what did he say? So the first thing he talked about are the laws that the Jews, first he talked about the journey, actually, the 40 years. But then he talked about the laws that the Jews were supposed to implement so that they could live correctly. And in Devarim, it talks about what the laws are for judges. The laws for judges are that you have to base your decision based on evidence and discovery, not on, well, he's a stranger, he's a macher. So, and that's actually thousands of years ahead of its time. So he talked about the laws, he talked about the journey. But to me, one of the most important things that he did was he instilled the fact that everybody, the Israelites themselves were wells, that they didn't need him to reach the divine, that they were all wells and they could do it. They could do it on their own. And Moses really stood up to the challenge. What a transformation. What a metamorphosis of Moses. I personally believe that creativity, that creative inspiration is all around us here at Temple Akiba and everywhere. And all we have to do is tap into it and it can flow through us into the world. Moses embraced his metamorphosis. He embraced his transformation. Ultimately, he changed from a cistern into a well. So I have a question for all of you. And I'm not going to call on anybody, but how many of you here have a personal mission in your life? Or maybe you could say have a purpose to your life, do you feel? Just raise your hand if you do. Amazing. So how do you maintain your well so that you can get inspiration to accomplish your mission or your purpose in life? So I just want to share with you that, and I would love to hear what everybody says, but I just want to say that I personally do have a mission and a purpose in my life. And the way that I personally refill my well is, first of all, with all of you, my dear Temple congregate members, and the love that we have here, the welcoming that we have here, serving on the board, being in a Havara, all the things here, that is so important to filling my well. Also being with dear family and friends, Jonathan, my son's here, it just fills my well. I love to have music and dance in my life every single day. I love to have nature in my life every single day, even if it's looking at a leaf. It's still nature, and it just really fills me with love and inspiration. But the other thing that I do is that I try to find people from history that inspire me. And I try to do this regularly. And so I just want to share with you two people that I've been focusing on the last 2 months. The first person is Theodore Herzl. He was born in 1860. He was a journalist and he covered the Dreyfus trial. And if you remember, and he experienced blatant anti-Semitism. And he also experienced the slogan, "Death to the Jews." And he said, if this could happen in France, if this could happen in Paris, if this could happen in Europe, it can happen anywhere. And what's the solution? To establish a Jewish state. And that's what he did for the rest of his life. For 9 years, he was tenacious. And that's what filled his well, anti-Semitism. So what did he do? He established the World Zionist Congress. He inspired thousands of Jews to be Zionists, to want to establish the state of Israel. He came up with this vision. It's an ancient vision, right? But he came up with the actual way to do it. And he spoke with world leaders all over the world. He was relentless. He wanted this to happen. He never did get to see it, but 50 years later, the state of Israel was established. And he came up with a phrase, if you will it, it is not a dream. And the other side of that, if you don't will it, it will stay a dream. So one of the high points of my time in Israel was I walked from Yad Vashem. I didn't go to Yad Vashem this year, but I walked from Yad Vashem, was at the bottom, up the hill, half a mile to Mount Herzl and to the Herzl Museum. And it's very symbolic that it's walking up to Mount Herzl. And that was very, very meaningful to me. So Theodore Herzl, thank you for your inspiration. Your spirit is hopefully listening. You're very inspiring. Thanks for everything that you do. The second person I want to talk about is Helen Keller. Helen Keller was born with all 5 senses. Then when she was 1.5 years old, she got a disease. They think it was encephalitis. And she lost her sight and her hearing. What? That is, I mean, just think about that. How could somebody that lost her sight and hearing be optimistic and positive her whole life? Speak 5 languages fluently, learning it through her fingers. Designated by Time magazine as one of the top 100 people in the century. Be an author, help establish the ACLU, be an activist. I just want to say to Helen Keller, thank you for, first of all, teaching me. She says that smell is the most important of all the senses because you can smell at a distance. Touch, you can just figure out what it is you're touching. But I've been trying to touch more things and taste the air from the ocean, and it's just so inspiring. So I just thank you, Helen Keller, for inspiring so much with everything that you do. So my final thoughts and my wishes and my prayer is that all of us can find the inspiration to fulfill our personal mission and our personal purpose, and that we may be successful at these and be happy and healthy our whole entire life. May that be God's will, to which we say, Amen. Amen. It is my pleasure now to call Herman Barathan forward to lead us, or actually for announcements.
Thank you, Ira. I am the men's group representative to the board, and it's my pleasure tonight to say to you all, on behalf of the board, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And boy, we've got a nice group here tonight, don't we? How many people here for the first time? Raise your hands. Well, it's wonderful. Keep coming back every week. For the entire summer, we're going to be right here in Wolkowitz Field, weather permitting, of course. And it's different, but it's beautiful. It really is. Let me see what kind of announcements we have for tonight. Well, they did. Oh, yes, they did. Okay, I'm sorry. I have just a few announcements tonight. I think there's 2 of them I really want to stress. Tomorrow night, right here on Wolkowitz Field at 7:30 p.m., we're going to have something sponsored by the men's group that we have never had before. In that area right there, we're going to have 7 people doing a klezmer concert for us. It's still not too late. If you have not paid your $20 fee, and I'm sorry, but there is a fee for this one, $20 for adults, $10 for children. If you have not yet, you can pay it to me tomorrow night because I'll be at the door. You can give it to me tomorrow night and come in and join. It's going to be, you'll pardon the expression, one hell of an evening. There will be refreshments served next door. We now have the gate, so you can walk back and forth and pick up anything you want at any time you want to. Folks, come on out and join us tomorrow. Temple Akiba is really going to rock and roll tomorrow night with klezmer music. It's going to be one H of an evening. The other thing I wanted to mention was membership. We are now in the next year as far as the synagogue is concerned. Membership, if you have not already rejoined, please do. And if you'll notice on the sheet that was sent to you, there's also, it's a plug, I realize that, but there is a place for you to join or rejoin the men's group. The minimum rate is $37 for men. It's an expansive rate. You can spend as much as you want, but we set a minimum of $37 for men. And for ladies, we accept your $18 as associate members, just the way Sisterhood accepts us as associate members also. So if you have not yet sent in your membership, I know the synagogue would very much appreciate receiving something from you ASAP. Those are the two things I really wanted to stress. On Friday, August 11th at 5:30 p.m., there's the community barbecue. It's going to be sponsored again by Sisterhood and Men's Group. It'll be at 5:30 and services will be at 6:30. I presume that the barbecue is going to be next door because services are going to be right here. So that's August 11th. Mark your calendar. It's another exceptional evening sponsored by Sisterhood and Men's Group. There's also an end of summer parents party Saturday, August 5th at 7 p.m., which runs from 7 to 10 p.m. Catered taco cart and frozen margaritas. Frozen margaritas. Eat it with a spoon. I used to drink margaritas. Well, but no, it doesn't really matter. Anyhow, those are the two things that I really wanted to talk about and mention the other two also. Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much to everybody. I don't know names or can't remember who did what, but thank you to everybody who participated in the service tonight and stood right here where I was standing. Ira, that's all I can say. Randy, where are you?
Right there.
Thank you also. You did a great job as you always do. Shabbat shalom to you, all of you. And I look forward to seeing many of you here tomorrow evening.
Thank you. I also want to say, just as an add-on to what Herman said, thank you very much, Herman, is that I thank you to Jeffrey and to Catherine and everybody that sets up for services. I mean, it's a lot of work, and thank you so much for putting everything together so beautifully. We now continue on page 282. We're on our concluding prayers, and I asked Meg Clemens to please come forward and open up our ark. Please rise as we open up the ark, and we are going to sing the Aleinu at the bottom of page 282.
Aleinu l'shmer ha'adon, ha'kol etekru la'odetshit, she'lo asanu koyat atzot, ve'lo samanu gamish kavod ha'adama, she'lo sam kerkenu kahen, ve'kor aleinu Kol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtakavim u'modim, lifnei melech malkei hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar ahoyo Adonai, L'melech al hogoreh, Hayom ha'u yihei Adonai echad. U'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. Please turn to page 291. And let's read together on the bottom of the page. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We now remember friends and family who have passed away and who are no longer with us, though they are definitely still in our hearts. I will first read the name of those that have passed away in the last 30 days and are in the period known as Shaloshim. Elliot Silverstein, Betty Solis. Is there anyone else who has in the Shaloshim list? Lewis?
John Calvin.
John Calvin, thank you. Charlene?
Peter Patman.
Peter Patman, okay. Michael Rich, thank you. I will now read the names of the yard sites from the Sue and Jerry Erfrig Memorial Road. Irving Aronson, Richard Alexander, Newton D. Antron, James Gordon, Harry Halbertstadt, Irving Herman, Dorothy Hudson, Esther Rose Luber, Jean Pevsner, Morton Saperstein. I will now read the other yard sites for this Shabbat. Donald Abrams, Lillian and Topol, Donald Bernstein, Clara Pagash, Anne Falk, Ida Fine, Dorothy Fleischman, Ada Goldberg Green, Arnold J. Halperin, Helene Hertz, Tanya Heyman, Rabbi Sidney Jacobs, Jayiko Kada, Jack Candle, Rose Katz, Mildred Kaufman Kamen, Charles Kraus, Seymour Kreisel, Minnie Lasky, Cheryl Marmon, Aaron Ron Nathanson, Caroline Oshmanish, Pearl Puritz, Joel Rothblatt, Arthur Rothstein, Mary Lou Ruttenberg, Jay Schwartz, Jackson Senator, Pauline Serlin, Sheldon Stein, Jacob Temkin, Mordecai Barsano, Harry Wagner, Phyllis Winograd, and Francisco Zelaya. Is there anyone else who has names to add to our yard site list? We will now read the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Please rise. Yikadol v'yikadash shalei rabah, v'yamad divra kirute, v'yamlich malakute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, u'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, v'hagalah zizman karib, v'imaru, amen. Yehi shmei rabah v'rorah, le'olam u'mei amayim. Yitbarach v'yishavah, V'yitahar, v'yitraman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudashah, re'u. Le'elam min kol birchata, shishirata, tushbekata, v'nechtamata, da'amiram, v'yama, v'imaru, amen. Yehi shema rabba v'yitshemaya, v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Israel, v'imaru, amen. Osei shalom b'morah, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imaru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all of Israel, to which we say, amen. Randy, what are we doing for our closing song?
We're doing Shalom Ra.
And it is on page, let's see, what page is Shalom Ra?
Sing La La La. If you don't know. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki atah melakato lechol shalom. Ki atah melakato lechol shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Etov be'anecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. בכל רגע ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam.
Where is our? Oh, okay. And after we're all done, please bring your books back to Herman so he can put them away. Thank you, Herman, for the reminder. And Randy will now lead us in the Hallel stage.
Amotzi lecheni aviv. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lecheni aviv.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
תודה רבה.